Start with McLean. Nate? Now, Eli, you're going to be my spotter. Captains are Chris and Callum. Okay. Okay. Coaches, we're ready. We will begin. Toss up one. Architect E.E. Walla LaDuke restored this building in the 19th century and added a Gothic revival sacristy. Its cornerstone was laid by Pope Alexander III in 1163, and two Gothic towers dominate its western facade. Named this religious building, it sits.
Notre Dame.
Correct. Bonus 2. As this play's title character is invisible and possibly capable of punishing or saving people, critics have deemed him a stand-in for God. Pazzo mistreats Lucky as Vladimir and Estragon discuss life and hope that the title character will eventually appear. Give the title this play in which nothing happens twice, written by Samuel Beckett.
The Invisible Man.
Incorrect, Captain.
Waiting for Godot.
Correct. Toss up 3. Consider the complex number 6 minus 7i.
Grayson.
5i.
Incorrect. Calculate the sum of the number and its complex conjugate.
12.
Correct. Bonus 4. Macrophages use this form of transport when engulfing foreign cell components. During it, the plasma membrane buds inwards to accept the foreign particle. Give the process of active transport by which cells engulf other particles.
Endocytosis.
Correct. Toss up 5. This department became part of the cabinet during the administration of U.S. Grant, although the position held by its head dated to 1789. Among the agencies in the department are the National Institute of Corrections, the Federal Bureau of Prisons,
Department of Justice.
correct. Bonus 6. At various points in this novel, Anatoly Kuragin and Pierre Bezukov and Prince Andrei Bolkonsky fall in love with Natasha Rostova. It chronicles the fortunes of 5 aristocratic Russian families during the country's war against Napoleon from 1805 to 1814. Give the title of this epic historic novel by Leo Tolstoy.
Charges of Life Brigade.
Incorrect. Captain? Correct. Plus up 7. Brahms' Third Symphony is based on a 3-note motive that consists of this note, an A flat, and this note again. The French horn is based on this pitch, whose major key signature has 1 accidental B flat. Correct. Bonus 8. Consider point P with polar coordinates 3 divided by 3. If these coordinates are converted to rectangular form, what is the x-coordinate of point P?
2.
Incorrect, Captain. 1. Incorrect, 3 halves. Also 9. Name not symbolic form, please. Much of this compound in the atmosphere comes from wetlands. It is the second greatest greenhouse gas in the world.
Methane.
Correct. Bonus 10. The first of these treaties was a victory for Holland, which received Maastricht and saw the lifting of a 1667 anti-Dutch tariff. France was the winner of the second, which saw Spain make major concessions in Flanders. What two treaties signed in 1678 and 1679 ended the Dutch war between France and Spain?
Treaty of Dutch.
Incorrect, Captain.
Treaties of Paris.
Incorrect. Treaty of Nijmegen. Also up 11. English answer required. In Islam, one of these events is called Eid al-Fitr, celebrates the end of Ramadan. One in Judaism commemorates the wheat harvest. In the Eastern, correct. Bonus 12. In its English translation, this work is a series of iambic and pentameter 4 stanzas with AA, DA rhyme scheme. Its most notable quotations include, "The flower that once has blown forever dies," and "Take the cash and let the credit go." Give the title of this work, translated by Edward Fitzgerald, but originally written by Omar Khayyam. Correct. Toss-up 13. Multiple answer required. Set A consists of the multiples of 2 that are between 1 and 17. And set B consists of the positive multiples. Incorrect. Set A consists of the multiples of 2 that are between 1 and 17. And set B consists of positive multiples of 3 that are less than 21. What numbers are in the intersection of sets A and B?
12, 18, 6.
Incorrect. 6 and 12. Toss-up 14. One party to this early Supreme Court case purchased a monopoly from Robert Fulton and Robert Livingston. He sued the other party. Correct. Bonus 15. Since this molecule produces formaldehyde, when processed in the body, it can cause blindness and death. It is produced primarily using zinc oxide to catalyze the reaction of carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Give the name of the smallest alcohol which has the formula CH3OH.
Ethanol.
Correct. Toss-up 16. Consider the inequality 9 minus x squared is greater than 0. Find the value of the smallest integer that is in the solution set of the inequality. Incorrect.
-3.
Incorrect. -2. Toss-up 17. English name, please. One playwright from this country portrayed Phinea's intellectual development as she is courted in the play A Lady of Little Sense. Another playwright, a member of the country's generation of 1947, wrote about Leonardo Felix's love for the bride in his play Blood Wedding. Name this country home to playwrights Lope Vega and Frederico. Correct. Bonus 18, first and last name required. He was born on Christmas Day while his father was prime minister. He was a teacher when he delivered a eulogy at his father's funeral, going into politics himself a few years later. What member of the Liberal Party was elected prime minister of Canada in 2015?
Smith.
Incorrect, Captain.
James.
It's Justin Trudeau. Toss-up 19. In the following sentence, what is the verb's voice? In a special session, the bill was passed by Congress. Correct. Bonus 20. The discovery of the Higgs boson was verified by its decay into 4 of this type of particle by way of an intermediate and light quarks. They're divided into 3 generations. These particles are incapable of interaction with the strong nuclear force, and they come in 6 varieties, including tau and mu. Name this class of subatomic particles that includes neutrinos and electrons.
Leptons.
Correct. Also 21. 4-letter answer required. A wicked man with this title, according to a play by Seneca, is the best possible sacrifice. In 1649, John Milton cited Deuteronomy to affirm the right to kill one who had become a tyrant, while Plato claimed an ideal state. Correct. Bonus 22. He lost 2 races for Congress before being elected in 1978 to the House of Representatives, where he won a reputation for being confrontational. He was the moving force behind the forced resignation of Jim Wright as Speaker of the House in 1989, and was chosen House Minority Whip that year. What Georgia congressman became in 1994 the first Republican Speaker of the House in 40 years. Correct. Time out.
To be fair, he was trying to reach for the button that came this one box.
No, he was.
I looked up and I see it, I'm like,
But I think she wanted see the chicken salad. And then
How was that?
I guess that was the kind
No substitutions. Okay, no Cameron. Okay, let's go ahead and do a buzzer check. Ring and test. Cameron, okay. Everybody ready? We will resume play. Toss up 23. A cubic polynomial and a quintic polynomial are multiplied. What is the degree of the polynomial? Correct. Bonus 24. In this work, the title character rescues his son, Ascanius, and father, Anchises, from Troy. He later leads his men in a battle against Turnus, his rival suitor for Lavinia's hand in marriage. What is this preeminent Roman epic, the primary source of the Trojan horse myth written by Virgil? Correct. Also 25. The frontier type of these wave functions include the highest occupied and lower unoccupied. Such functions, often described as bonding and anti-bonding, determine the chemical reactivity of a molecule. What functions represent the location of electrons in a molecule and are often linear combinations of atomic?
Lewis dot.
Incorrect. What functions represent the location of electrons in a molecule and are often linear combinations of atomic? S, P, D, and F. Incorrect. Orbitals. Toss up 26. In Norse myth, one of these conveyances, named Naglfar, is built from dead warriors' fingernails. Correct. Bonus 27. Let f of x equal the cube root of quantity x minus 4 closed quantity, and let g of x equal 3x plus 5. Evaluate the expression f of g of 7/3.
5.
Incorrect, Captain.
No, 7.
2 is correct. Toss up 28. Name and number, please. Because his father died early, he became king at the death of his grandfather, Edward III. His reign was marked by factional strife and arbitrary rule, leading to rebellion by the common people.
Charles I.
Incorrect. His reign was marked by factional strife and arbitrary rule, leading to rebellion by the common people in the House of Commons. Then the king who ruled England from 1377 until he was deposed by Henry IV in 1399. Incorrect. Richard II. Also, 29. The superposition principle affects waves undergoing this phenomenon. In the young double-slit experiment, the light pattern is broken up into fringes named for this effect, which can be
particle duality.
incorrect. In the double-slit experiment, the light pattern is broken up into the fringes named for this effect, which can be constructive or destructive. Name this effect in which electromagnetic waves superimpose to form a resultant wave of different amplitude. Interference. Toss up 30. This 5-letter word comes from the Spanish for courtyard. What word refers to a paved area?
One.
Incorrect. What word refers to a paved area adjoining a house that people use for outdoor dining and lounging?
Grayson. Patio.
Correct. Bonus 31. Consider the function f of x equals 4 raised to the quantity x minus 2 closed power plus 1. What is the equation of the asymptote of the graph of f?
X equals 1.
Correct. Incorrect. Captain. It was y equals 1. Toss up 32. He resigned from the Supreme Court to accept the Republican nomination for president in 1916 and lost to Woodrow Wilson. In 1941, he was appointed Secretary of State of President Harding and negotiated a peace treaty with Germany. What former Supreme Court justice was confirmed as Chief Justice in 1930, serving until 1941?
Justice Berger.
Incorrect.
You go black.
Incorrect. Charles Evans Hughes. Also 33. Mento is a relative of this musical genre whose early form centered on a Shackwell singer and criticized colonial government. Roaring Lion, Attila the Hun, and Mighty Chalk Dust are among those who have been crowned its kings. What Trinidadian style of music, often performed using steel drums, is exemplified? And that was Calypso.
Do you agree with that score? See, I can't see.
Coaches, do you want them to swap sides, or you find where they're just let them
What do you think?
I'm fine where we are.
Well, they can see better than we can.
I'm fine.
We're fine, if they're fine.
No.
where it is? Starting 3-minute inquiry.
That's where I'm.
Most of your answers Yes. Yes, 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 that's true.
I was like, what could it be?
Me either, when you said I thought, sure you can't do it. And it was, I was like, really? Good job.
At least I guessed it, yes. I know it wasn't. He was a
I think that less time is of the essence. And then no, but buzz in, so we have time to get when we do know. Now, that's one thing that I notice with Evanston County. They watch the clock the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll play it so they can keep us from getting the question.
Oh, do they do? When they pulled ahead, they waited to answer. Then they said their answer in a very slow rate of speed. To try to,
That's what you see at Governor's Cup too. Of course, usually at Governor's Cup, they're both bam, 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 bam.
No, I was getting ready to just lean in and
They have to step up on that. They do that, and they're gonna have to remember all these things you talked about the other stuff.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to play their best every game.
So do you ever, like when you've been listening at these questions, is there ever one that you hear that they have not seen in some sort of study material? So it's not that it's,
I mean, it's come up in practice.
I mean, and there's some that you can, no, and then there's some, these obscure things that they'll ask, and then they'll ask something like to kill a mockingbird. You know.
Well, 80% of the questions are supposed to be very easy or moderately.
Okay, the 30-minute inquiry period has elapsed.
20% difficult.
If we're ready, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay? Let's go ahead and do a ring-in test, just in case. We start with Nate. Coaches, we ready? Captain? Start nice clock. Toss up one. Find all of the linear factors of the polynomial function f of x equals x raised to the fourth power minus 13x squared plus 36. X plus 3, x minus 3, x plus 2, x minus 2. Also 2. In the U.S., this index is generally based at 100 for the years 1982 to 1984. It is most commonly calculated by using a weighted arithmetic mean of price relative what economic?
Inflation.
Incorrect. What economic index shows the cost of living based on changes in prices? Consumer Price Index. Toss-up 3. One work by this composer instructs the performer to use maximum amplification while performing a disciplined action. He used 2 record turntables in the ensemble of the first of his imaginary landscapes, while his sonatas and interludes required objects to be inserted between the piano strings to prepare it. Name this American composer.
Grayson.
Correct. Bonus 4. These chemical agents may lyse bacterial cell walls or halt bacterial protein synthesis. Examples include ciprofloxacin and tigecycline. What medicines can be used to kill or inhibit bacterial growth?
Antibiotics.
Correct. Also, this poet's best-known work is a continuation of Mateo Boiardo romance Orlando Innamorato. This poem follows the Christian knight Roland, who temporarily forgets. Incorrect. That poem follows the Christian knight Roland, who temporarily forgets his duty to Charlemagne because of his lover, Angelica. Identify the poet of Orlando Furioso. Ariosto. Also 6. A current name required. This dynasty took the throne in 1901, but not under the name it is known by today. It succeeded the House of Hanover, but its name was changed in 1917 from Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. What is the name of the current British royal house?
McLean.
Incorrect.
Grayson.
House of Windsor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Bonus 7. Playwrights whose work fall into this style include Eugene Ionesco and Harold Pinter, often suspending naturalistic plot and characterization to fix humans as isolated in a meaningless world. open-ended style, which has become synonymous with the work of Samuel Beckett. Correct. Also A, the area of a hexagon is 16 square units, and the hexagon is dilated by a scale factor of 3 to generate an image. In square units, calculate the area of the image.
McLean, Matthew.
48 units square.
Incorrect. (144 square units). Plus up 9. This astrophysicist tweeted that the droid named BB-8 would skid uncontrollably.
Grayson, Bob.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Correct. Bonus 10. This novel set on Long Island draws distinctions between the Valley of Ashes, East Egg, and West Egg. The story ends with George Wilson fatally shooting the title character and Daisy Buchanan remaining with her husband Tom, narrated by Nick Carraway. What is this jazz age novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald?
Great guess.
Correct. Plus up 11, multiple answers are required. Chords A, B, and CD intersect at point P in the interior of the circle, where the lengths of the segments AP and BP are 5 units and 4 units respectively. If the length of segment CD is 12 units, calculate the two possible lengths of segment CP.
Grayson, Matthew.
8 and 7.
Incorrect.
McLean, Cole.
4 and 5.
Incorrect. 2 and 10. Also 12, stage name required. In one film by this actor and director, he plays a character who falls in love with Holly after watching the film Duck Soup. In another film, which begins with a joke about small portions of terrible food, he plays Albie Singer, who falls in love with a character played by Diane Keaton, what comedian directed Hannah and her sisters in Annie Hall.
McLean, Matthew.
Williams.
Incorrect.
Grayson, Bob.
Charlie Chaplin.
Incorrect. Woody Allen. Toss up 13. This experimental law could not be mathematically derived and proven until the development of kinetic theory of gases. The apparatus used to confirm it was built by Robert Hooke. It involved the use of mercury at varying amounts of pressure pushing on enclosed air. What gas law states that pressure and volume are inversely?
McLean, Matthew.
Boyles.
That's correct. Bonus 14. This novel, which was not published in its author's native country until 1987, earned him a Nobel Prize, but the government authorities forced him to decline. The title position loves Lara, or Laura, and poetry, but must serve as a doctor for the Bolsheviks. Give the title of this Boris Pasternak novel.
Dr. Johnson.
Incorrect. Captain.
Dr. Giovanni.
Correct. Also 15. This relief organization has been known by 3 names at different times, but all produce the same 4-letter acronym. It was established as an umbrella group for several organizations in Canada and the U.S. What organization was first named the Cooperative for American Remittance to Europe? CARE. Toss-up 16. Consider the figures represented by the equations y equals x squared and x squared plus y squared equals 12. The figures intersect at 2 points, but the y coordinates of these intersection points are equal. What is the value of this y coordinate? Y equals 3. Toss-up 17. It was originally called Massacre Island because the French found human bones there when they landed in 1699. Renamed in 1707 for the heir to the French throne, it is the home to the Alabama Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo each July. Named this island in Mobile Bay off the southwestern coast of Alabama.
McLean Call.
Dolphin Island.
Correct. Bonus 18. Strictly speaking, this architectural feature is an arch that has been rotated 360 degrees. St. Basil's Cathedral, the Hagia Sophia, the Taj Mahal, and the U.S. Capitol all contain notable examples. Identify this structure resembling an inverted bowl. Incorrect. Correct. Also 19. This homologue to the lung has a secondary purpose of producing or receiving sound. Most bony fish have this structure. What gas-filled sac is used by fish to stay afloat?
Grayson Rock.
Swim bladder.
Correct. Bonus 20. This novel's protagonist earns wealth by purchasing tracts of land with the Wang family and by turning his aunt and uncle into opium addicts. Wang Lung take Lotus and Pear Blossom as concubines, but comes to appreciate his faithful wife Olan as she is dying. Give the title of this Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Pearl S. Buck. Correct. Also, time out. McLean second.
So you're saying
You can interrupt on that bonus, but if you're wrong, then the question is finished for the other team.
oh, I thought the moderator had to call it on.
You can interrupt on a bonus. It's your bonus.
Oh, I thought it was theirs. And then he said it before he called on this, a bounce back.
Well, I mean, basically it went over to, he was going to reread it, but then it became our bonus, so we could interrupt it whenever we wanted.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, yeah.
She wants to.
Okay, we made some substitutions. We'll start with buzzer check for McLean County Dispensers. Okay. We'll resume play. Toss up 21. Express your answer as a decimal. In a particular class, 40% of the students are female and 60% of the females have a pet. If a student is randomly selected from this class, calculate the probability that the student is a female and has a pet. .24. Toss up 22. These works of art include Photography, which shows the Madonna and Child. Empress Irene was a prominent supporter of these works of art. That Leo III.
McLean Tower.
Photograph.
Incorrect. Empress Irene was a prominent supporter of these works of art that Leo III condemned in AD 746. What religious works of art were opposed by class and were venerated by the Orthodox Church?
Grayson Rock.
Correct. Bonus 23. This molecule can exist in multiple types, including the transfer form, which loops over itself and is attached to an amino acid. One hypothesis for the origins of life states that a world of this molecule existed before all other molecules. Which form of genetic information can be translated directly into protein and uses pyrimidine-based uracil? Correct. Also 24, this Paleo-Indian complex takes its name from a site discovered in 1908, which provides the first evidence of human interaction with megafauna. The complex flourished from about 9,000 to 8,000 BC and was centered in the Great Plains. Named this complex, known for its distinctive leaf-shaped point, first found in New Mexico.
Grayson Alex.
Incorrect. Wholesome. Toss up 25. This poem, which was set to the tune of Lucy Lockett, may have been written by Dr. Richard Shuckburgh. British military men sang it to mock the American colonists they served with during the French and Indian War. Correct. Bonus 26, express your answers of fraction. Data are distributed uniformly on the interval from 2 to 10. What is the fraction of the distribution data that lies between 8 and 9? Correct. Also 27. In front of this geologic prominence, General Dan E. Sickles lost most of his men and one of his legs on July 2nd, 1863. The next day, Confederate forces broke through the Union lines to reach the top of this height, but were unable to maintain their position. Identify the ridge that was the objective of Pickett's charge at Gettysburg. Cemetery Ridge, toss-up 28. This art form, which is highly prized in China, Japan, and Middle Eastern society, can be executed with a brush or pen.
Calligraphy?
Correct. Bonus 29. This poet describes tasting a liquor never brewed and feeling a funeral in my brain. She advises the reader to tell all the truth, to tell it slant, and insists success is counted sweetest by those who never succeed. Named the 19th century poet of hope is the thing with feathers.
Dickinson?
Correct. Also 30. This process can be of the Gomhoff, Teller, or Fermi type and is studied on Curie plots. It follows 3 paths. A proton is converted into a neutron. Incorrect. It follows 3 paths. A proton is converted into a neutron or vice versa, or an electron is captured. In what type of radioactive decay is an electron or positron given off and the atomic number changes by 1?
Isometric.
Data decay. Toss-up 31. Express your answer as a decimal. A negative linear relationship exists between 2 variables, x and y. If the coefficient of the determination for the relationship is 64%, what is the value of the correlation coefficient for the relationship between x and y? That was negative 8/10.